This is a quick tutorial on importing, editing, and exporting video files using the Adobe Premiere Elements 15 software. To start with, we're going to get some video files into our software. To do that, we're going to click Add Media in the upper left, select Files and Folders, and I'm going to select a small batch of videos that I have on my desktop. Open those. They're going to be imported and put into the Project Assets folder up here at the top. To add a video to our timeline, which is our main working area on the bottom half of the screen, I'm going to click and drag video onto the Video 1, Audio 1 line. This is your main working area. Notice you can have video 2 and even go above 3 and 4. You can layer multiple videos. This is useful for certain types of transitions, especially a dissolve. More on that in a different video. I can look through my video clip in two different ways. I can either grab the timeline marker here and drag it through the video, which allows me very discrete control, or I can play through using the player buttons along the bottom of the preview window. If I wish to shorten a clip, I can either cut time off the front or back in two ways. I can hover over the ends and my mouse pointer becomes a bracket with a double arrow through it. If I click and drag, I can shorten the video by however much. The floating indicator here shows how many frames I'm taking off. So I'm just going to take a minor cut here. Call it there. So that it cuts out right after he leaves frame. To take a little more off, I'm going to show you the second method. Now, I want this to cut right after as he's leaving frame. So right there. If you notice on my red line here showing what time marker I'm at, there's a little scissor icon. If I click that, it's going to split the clip into two parts. I can now select the second half that I don't want and press delete. I could also drag this to another point. So if I was cutting back and forth between clips, I could insert something in between. In this case, I'm just going to press delete and it goes away. Now I'm going to put in another clip. I'm going to use 48. I'm going to click and drag. Down on the same timeline, this will snap to potentially two different places. If my time indicator is over here, it will either snap, I can snap it to that point or to meet up with the previous clip. So I now have my first transition. Now I want to cut off a little of the front of this. I'm going to again. Now notice the bracket changes depending on which clip it thinks I'm editing. In this case, I'm going to edit this one back to the timeline, and it automatically shifts the whole video to meet up. We now have a little smoother transition. Now for this last clip, I'm going to put it in, but I want to indicate a small passage of time. I'm going to put in a transition. To do this, I'm going to click the Transitions button, which is this little split square. And I want to dip to black. I'm going to click and drag this over and put it right in between. This gives me an option of how long I want it to last and which clip I want to favor. In this case, I want it to favor the right. Done. I now have the following transition.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Again, we're going to cut off our unwanted at the end there so that it leaves right there. Okay, I now have a quick clip, 3 clips with a transition put together, and I'm ready to save this. Now first, you're going to save the project. File, Save As, give it a name, and somewhere to save it. This is only a project file. It is not your actual video file. This is simply a list of instructions of what to do with the video files that you've loaded into the project. To actually export the movie, you're going to use the Export and Share button on the upper right. Click, and you can choose to either, if you're going to save this as a local file, click Device. It'll automatically pick up a format. Quality size, we want HD 1080p because that's what we shot it in. The name is going to be the project name, but in MP4. And I can choose a destination by clicking Browse, putting it wherever I like, and then save, and it'll export as an MP4 file that can then be uploaded. For most of the submissions in this class, you're actually going to use online. This gives you 3 different options. We're going to use YouTube. Standard quality will work fine for most of our videos. Final projects will probably use high. And click Begin Share. This should ask you to log in if you're not already. I'm already logged in. I'm going to give it a title, description, and I want to make sure I set this to unlisted and whatever category it fits into. Give it a description. And click Upload. It's going to render your media out and then upload it into your YouTube channel. And click Done. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at jron@cranbrook.edu or contact me using the information on the CranNet course page.